Well, it's quite a while since I've been able to video one of these walks, and today there are three of us. Louise, and on the right Liz.
Hi.
And here we are. Where are we? Well, we're just at the entrance of Hooke Park. And Hooke Park is a great time to come when the bluebells are out. We don't think they're quite at their fullest opening yet, but I think there'll be plenty to see. So first of all, we head along this tarmacked road. See you later. Just paused here for a moment because this bit of woodland on our left, it gives me pause actually to realise that I stood and watched these trees being planted back in my early days living and working at Athona, and now they're rather substantial. Must mean I'm a lot older than this bit of woodland, but it's as old as my time in my current role. Wow. Moving swiftly on, as they say. Let's. Well, here we are with some bluebells, not a full display really, but there they are, and among the trunks of the beech trees. Trees just beginning to come into leaf, some of them, but at the moment letting a lot of sun through for the bluebells. So on we go. Now Hooke Park is a very interesting place because in the centre of it is an outpost of the Architectural Association, which is a postgraduate architectural training institute, mainly based in London. But they have this wonderful woodland outpost where some of the students come for special projects and all sorts of experimental buildings. I have to say there was not a kind of model lighthouse here when I came before. I wonder if it is a lighthouse or whether it's something else. But all the buildings you see are in one way or another experimental efforts that have been designed and built on site, typically using timber, and particularly using timber in ways that's not conventional, using some of the stuff that would be chucked away under normal circumstances. So we thought we'd just pop in here before following the footpath on and see what the students and architects of the future have been doing most recently. And now we're leaving the campus of the Architectural Association via a nice bit of functional timber architecture, this bridge over a stream. Come along, ladies. Best foot forward. When I've been here before, we've always gone down this little path in the sun. But I notice now that somebody has pioneered a parallel path, we think it's parallel, through the wood. And it's a bit atmospheric, so should we go ahead this way? Let's.
Why not?
Well, here we are, just nearing the top of the hill, looking back over part of Hooke Woods, swinging round to get a bit more of the terrain ahead of us and around us. In fact, just straight ahead there, you may be able to discern that there's a fairly steep-sided ravine, a valley, winding through the fields, and we're going to be walking that a bit later on. Now, after a few minutes walking in full sun, we've come into one of, for my money, the most charming narrow strips of woodland in Dorset. It's picturesque. There's a tiny stream running down the middle of it here. Over on the other bank, that's all wild garlic, not quite in bloom yet, but it shortly will be. Some bluebells right here. And down the bottom of this little dell we're walking through, it can become unutterably muddy in wet winters, so we're hoping it's dried out a bit for us this time. But we pick our way carefully because there are large stones underfoot as well as tree roots and sometimes a tree trunk fallen sideways overhead. Liz is leading the way, picking her way carefully down there. I just love this part of the walk. Oh good, Liz has just told me there's a bit of mud. And it's quite a microclimate here with lots of ferns. And here is some of the garlic already in bloom. But very little water in the stream today. Well, a little bit of mud to negotiate, but nothing too bad, huh?
No, well, just quite beside a sheer drop. That was the problem.
Here we are at the bottom of a short stretch of tarmacked road, but it's a no-through road. The rather lovely cottage ahead is the very end of the road, and we have a choice to make. There are two paths from here. We can go off to the right behind where Liz is, or we can go off this way ahead, which is slightly more intrepid and unpredictable as a path. And we do know that it involves going through a ford later on, so we're going to try this one. See you later. On this part of the walk, the stream is way below us to the right, down there, and here on the path in the sunlight. Oh, there's my shadow. But also some more bluebells for you, and just the first little bloom of red campion I've seen today. Pretty well the first one this spring actually. And if I turn round, this is a path where there's a large badger set to the left, one of multiple entrances the badger's built, chucking quite large pieces of stone out onto the ground. They don't want stone in their set, why should they? The path lies ahead. Well, I did say you had to be a bit intrepid here. The path, there was a landslip that cut off part of the path ahead a while back, and we go steeply down. I hope I can do this while holding the camera without slipping. Somebody's put up some railings very helpfully since last I was here. And the path climbs up again. Duck under there. Wow. Up we go. Over this fallen small tree. And we're back on a beautiful little path, sort of gallery path along the side of the valley here, with pasture to our left, the stream down to our right, and a lot of hazel trees, predominantly hazel, that we're walking between. It may be bluebell time, but primroses and celandine are still here in evidence, and the odd dandelion, a lovely yellow bank. As we emerge from the wood and for a while follow the bottom of a sloping field. Here we are back on a well-maintained farm track now, still on the edge of the ravine down to the stream, with the scent of bluebells. Definitely smell them here, even if they're not quite at their best. In a few days' time I think they will be. Ahead of us lies the ford. See you there. Yes, here we are at the ford. Not very deep after all this dry weather, and I'm the last one to splash through. Wonder if I can do it without getting the bottom of my trousers wet, with a bit of luck. Splish, splosh, splash, and I'm through.
Well done.
Good. This beautiful sunny spot. You'd think nothing could be more rural and untouched by humankind, but if you look on an old map, this part by the stream is a hamlet with a mill and a few houses. It's just the remains of one building here, and that's all you see today. To remind us of the people who lived and worked here, probably over centuries. Since I've been clocking the various flowers on this trip, mustn't leave out the violets, which grow by the side of the path at this stage. Emerging from the woodland, we're on a track leading towards Mapperton Manor, where our path will end today. This bank here, full of bluebells and violets and primroses. It's an absolute delight. Just wish you could walk it, this path with us at the moment. Be there in your imagination. Be right here with us. Lots of my walks include a favourite tree or two, and here's a beauty. Is it alive? Is it dead? The ivy in the middle is very much alive, isn't it? But this ancient oak still has buds, none of them quite breaking open yet, but it will be in leaf before too long. It's going to hang on for a few more years. What a remarkable creature that is. How many centuries has it lived here? Well, much of our walk has been influenced by this little stream. It rises in springs in the grounds of Mapperton Manor and has shaped the landscape through which we've walked over centuries itself. We're nearing the end of the path now, a little bit more steadily uphill, and we're very much hoping we'll find a tea room at the top. Probably stop and meet you again there. Well, here we are, Journey's End, Mapperton Manor, one of the best preserved little manor houses in England. All you're seeing at the moment is the chapel in the distance and the old sawmill, or the coach house as it's now called, which serves as a cafe here. And here's Louise.
Hello.
And Liz, who's still got a mask on after ordering her cup of coffee or tea. Well, journey's end and just a quick glimpse of Mapperton Manor, one of the nicest little manor houses in England. But these days we're not allowed to walk away up the drive. We have to loop round another way to get to where we parked our car. So at the end of this walk, I bid you farewell.